Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Carlton Allen.
Members of the school board, residents of Freeport. My name is Carlton Allen. A good friend of mine, David Lynch, as well as Phil Bristol. We've all been benefited by being interacting with Mr. Kight, and we appreciate all the work he's done for us. We're all members of the class of '95. And, to each and every one of us throughout our lives. And I just would like to remind everybody that though we're here in support of Mr. Kight, in no way is any of our support or disrespect towards Ms. Carter. I think Mr. Kight deserves at least a chance to go a little further. I'm going to try and speed it up, read one, and pass the other two on to my friends. This letter is from a very close friend of ours, Mr. Brock Mayers, who happens to be the program manager from Morehouse College. A man who was touched very deeply by Mr. Kight. So I will read. To whom it may concern, I am very disheartened by the news of Ernest Kight's forced retirement. About that. As a class of 1995 alumnus of Freeport High, I've had the privilege of being under the mentorship of Mr. Kight throughout my formative academic years. As the vice principal and class advisor for the class of '95 and ultimately principal of Freeport High School, Mr. Kight has provided me and countless others with flawless leadership, indispensable knowledge, and abiding support. Mr. Kight has built his career on challenging his students to grow as intellectuals and social beings and prepare them for success on their chosen path. And his ability to balance firm encouragement with lucid understanding and the importance of a strong foundation in education has driven me throughout my academic and professional career. Mr. Kight has proven to be an invaluable resource to our school system. He has served the village of Freeport with class and distinction for the past 25 years, and I implore the Board of Education to allow him to retire in the same manner. Respectfully submitted, Brock Mayers.
Phil Bristol, and I'm going to read a letter from Kight Tucker, also a member of the class of 1995.
Are you guys sharing 4 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
No, I was saying like right now it's Carlton's turn. Carlton Allen's turn.
Okay. All right. To whom it may concern, my name is Kight Tucker, and I'm a proud graduate of Freeport High School class of 95. I'm currently a special educator aspiring to become an assistant principal. It has been brought to my attention that Mr. Ernest Kight has been asked to step down from his current position as principal of Freeport High School. Hopefully I can shed some light on the benefit of Mr. Kight to my life and the lives of many others. In high school, I found myself in trouble frequently because of my decision making. I had great grades and did very well athletically. The combination of these things gave me the sense of entitlement. I felt that since I was a great student academically and great athletically, I could get away with things that others couldn't. This sense of entitlement led me to get into situations that required me to be suspended for 3 months. These 3 months started at the end of my junior year and continued to the beginning of my senior year. During this time, I found myself in a great state of depression. Everyone who was singing my praises had turned their back on me, and I felt alone. Well, almost everyone. Mr. Kight made sure that I knew that in life you have many tests, and it was how you make through these tests which determine who you are. Well, as a teenager, I could not really appreciate what he was saying to me, but I listened. I listened for a couple of reasons. One, he was one of the few that was still talking to me, and more importantly, he was one of the few that openly believed in me. He would tell me all the time, I know it's hard, but I see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I know your character, and I believe you will make it through this. You had no idea what that means to a teenager that felt abandoned, and it's me against the world. Not only these words coming from my principal, but I felt that it was coming from a genuine supporter, confident friend. Now, as an educator, I appreciate these dynamics, the dynamics between educator and student. Sometimes it's a lot more than the lines in a book or the numbers in the problem. Sometimes students need someone to just care, support, and believe. I have found myself in education and modeling my interactions with students and parents after Mr. Kight. He has showed me that an educator is more than an educator of school education. He has shown me that an effective educator goes way beyond the books. I care about all my students, the ones that I teach and the ones that I don't teach. I want all my students to be successful, but more importantly, believe in themselves that they can be successful. It would be a disservice to Freeport High School and the village of Freeport if Mr. Kight is not allowed to continue his mentoring as a principal of the high school. Many young, impressionable teenagers would not have the luxury of someone that actually cares about them. In closing, I hope my words are spoken out loud to the Freeport Board of Education, the village of Freeport, and most importantly, Mr. Ernest Kight. Thank you so much for your support, and I owe you a lot. The only thing I can repay you is to make sure that I am someone that will have students who appreciate me the way I appreciate you 16 years after graduating. With deepest concerns for the future of my hometown and high school. Sincerely, Dave Tucker.
Before you